Hello everyone, Nick Poling here of the Monster Report, fresh back from G-Fest 22 in Chicago. Was a great time. Got to reunite with some people I met last year and make some new friends in the process. So a lot of people are putting videos and pictures online to show off what they picked up from the dealer's room, their haul, for instance. So what we're going to do is do the same. We're going to show you what I picked up in the dealer's room, a modest take from it, and at the end of this episode we're going to have an unboxing of something extra special. So stay tuned to the end for that. So let's get right to the haul. Of course, the first thing that you get when you arrive at G-Fest, you want to register, get your name badge so everyone knows who you are, and you want to get your official program book so you know all that's going on for the entire weekend. Get some special guests to talk to, so you get some autographs, of course, if you're there. See, of course, the schedule of events, where things are happening, all kinds of great things. And of course, we had a great experience there. Everyone who did attend, of course, with all the different panels, and of course, Symphonic Fury that happened on Friday night. So, of course, it was a memorable experience. We'll have all kinds of videos talking about that. During one of my panels, my first panel was the Symphonic Fury pre-concert panel with Chris Olio, John DeSantis, Eric Hominick, and Reiko Yamada. Reiko was kind enough after the panel to give me a copy of her CD. This is the piano works of Akira Ifukube, and so this is, of course, her performing those works. And if you watch my pre-concert panel video, you'll actually get to hear one of the selections from this. It's not from this CD, it's actually from a television broadcast, so you actually get to see her and hear her play in a concert setting. So it's just a little portion of a song, and she is an incredible pianist, and she is an incredible woman, and she had some great stories to share on the panel. So this was kind of a unique thing. It wasn't from the dealer's room, obviously. This is from from Reiko herself handing this to me. So it was just an amazing experience to meet her. Keeping with the theme of music, picked this up at Sean Linkenbach and Ed Gajuszewski's table. This is essentially the Ifukube 100 concert in Japan. So what this is a Region 2 DVD, but luckily I do have a player and a computer that will play this. What you have is a concert setting with the orchestra and a projection of Godzilla 1954, or Gojira, the Japanese version. And they are playing the music of it. There are still the sound effects of the movie going on in the background. So there might be some, as I was watching it, I realized there's a lot of portions of the film that are in there with where there is no music. So during that portion, of course, the orchestra is at rest, kind of waiting until a portion where they are synchronizing their music to the movie itself, which is an incredible talent in and of itself. Wish I could read this. Maybe someone out there can translate for me at some point and tell me exactly all that's going on there, but you really don't necessarily need to know what's being said, of course, during the movie, because if you watch the movie as much as I have, you pretty much got it memorized. But I just wish I could read, of course, the text that is on the back of this DVD. But really great one. This was one of a kind, at least I saw in the dealer's room. I did not see multiple copies of this floating out there, so I was very glad to pick this one up. It was a little bit pricey for a DVD when it comes down to it, but it's definitely something that I will watch over and over and over again. And of course, I'll get the audio on my iPod so I can listen to it in the car. Now let's talk about, of course, toys, collectible toys. You would definitely call these toys, because these are the Imperial Godzilla figures. If you watch my other videos, of course, I showed you the other Imperial figures that I have. This actually completes my collection. I wasn't quite sure how many different versions of the Imperial Godzilla was out there. Of course, I got mine in the 80s when Godzilla 1985 was coming out, and of course these were in all the toy stores. I got the large version of that, and I also had the 6-inch version. So I had basically numbers 2 and 4. This is like 1 and 3, the very small Imperial, and the mid-size next to large but not extra large, not super-sized version. That's out there. And I know there's other versions of this out there with different kind of designs in the face and coloration on it. But essentially, as far as the sizes go, from largest to smallest. I have the other two at home. I'll put up a picture to show you what they all look like on the shelf. But that pretty much completes the collection of Imperial Godzillas. And I know these aren't X+, these aren't, you know, the diamond collectibles, the vinyl figures. These are just pretty much plastic. But there's just something about the nostalgia factor going on here with these figures. So, completes that collection. First purchase was the Neca Godzilla Monster of Monsters. Neca's been coming out with a lot of really cool Nintendo video game based toys here, so of course do Godzilla. It was a very unique video game, not like any of the other Godzilla video games that are out there. It wasn't entirely a fantastic game, but it has definitely the nostalgia factor going for it. And what's really cool is Neca always puts out these boxes that look like a vintage video game that's been sitting on the shelf, kind of getting some wear and tear. So you see some of the fake wear and tear on this box. That is, of course, intentional. And what's also cool is the box is a display for your figure. I guess you could put him back in there. Inside you can kind of see the landscape of the level in 8-bit graphics, glorious 8-bit graphics. And at the top there, like you are seeing the video game with your power and life bar and the map screen. And there's Godzilla advancing through. Mothra you can always play as this game too. I always preferred Godzilla, but Mothra was always fun to play. And of course you're looking at this figure. It is essentially a repaint of the Godzilla 1985 with some differences. Obviously it's got the pixelation going on for it, which makes it look like the video game. The dorsal fins are much larger on this figure, so that's one of the biggest distinctive features, other than the color of course, that stands out between this one and the 1985 one that they released. So huge dorsal fins, just like it looks like in the video game. And he's got a lot of articulation as well. And if you look at the eyes, you actually see that his eyes are colored in red, blood red color. So another cool figure to pick up. And as I said before, this is a modest haul. A lot of people spent a lot more money than I did, but that's okay. Big in Japan, Tim Price, my good friend I met last year at G-Fest. Didn't get a copy of his book because by the time I got around to his table, I was out of money. So this year I made sure that before I left, I made sure I picked up a copy of his book, and I was one of the two last in line to pick up his book. And of course, when you're there, you gotta make sure that you get it signed. And there's Tim Price still mistaking me for Nick Adams. My name is Nick Adam singular. I am not the reborn version of Nick Adams, but he always likes to play with that notion that I am somehow Nick Adams, so you stinking rats in there. His line from Invasion of Astro Monster. So thank you, Tim, for this book. I look forward to digging into it and reading it. One of the guests that we had was Mr. August Ragoni, the author of Eiji Tsuburaya, Master of Monsters. And Eiji Tsuburaya did all of the, not all of the, I shouldn't say, a lot of the, from the original Godzilla 1954 through most of the Showa series, the classic Godzilla series, and Ultraman, and tons of other monsters. So of course, I already had August's book already, so which was good because by the time I got to him, he had sold out of his book as well. So good job, guys, in selling out of your merchandise. Maybe next year bring a few more boxes. So I was glad to get his autograph again on the last day before I had to leave. It was such a busy weekend, so getting the chance to get around to autographs was kind of a last minute thing because I was doing so many panels, working with Symphonic Fury guys, which I was very happy to do. This is a great book. Had the chance to skim through it, not a lot of time to read it, but this is one that I always, when I'm just having not much to do, sit back in the chair, check it out, and checking out, of course, Tim Price's book. And I've got lots of books, of course, in the collection that I've got to go through. Alright guys, if you're sitting at home, you're saying that wasn't really a big take, you didn't really spend a whole lot of money, and it's nothing really terribly special, but do you have something better? Do you have something that's just extraordinary? Well, we do. We have the X Plus Godzilla 1968. Now, this is my first X Plus. I just want everyone to know that. I have seen these out there, and I've always envied people that had them, and it's one of those things where I just didn't take the chance and get one. Partially because of the cost. I mean, they are a little bit more pricey than, of course, your Necas and your Bandais and such that are out there, you know, the stuff you'll find in Toys R Us and such, which I have no problem with those either. I obviously have plenty of them if you've seen my videos. But I'd always seen these and really, really liked the the intricacies of them. How much is put into the sculpts, the molds that go into all this, the paint, and how realistic they look as to the movies are concerned. So one of the first Versus Godzilla films that I saw in my childhood was Godzilla vs. Gigan, which is this suit. This suit was first featured, of course, in Destroy All Monsters. And it's Mr. Haru Nakajima, of course, in that suit. So the legendary actor who played Godzilla in the first 1954 Godzilla. So I've always liked this suit, just probably because, again, maybe the nostalgia factor. My first Godzilla was not this suit. My first Godzilla I saw was, of course, the 1985. But I always liked this one, and of course I liked it in all the films that it was featured in. So all the Godzilla suits have something extra special going on with them. I always kind of like the lip design and the eyes of this one, and the fact that, of course, it got used so often it was nearly falling apart by the time it was in Godzilla vs. Gigan. I think it was in 4 films. So let's this is a special occasion because the Monster Report has finally gotten into the world of X Plus vinyl figures. And the boxes, of course, you always know that there's not much to them except for the fact that you've got this really cool cover to them, and it's just taped right on the front there. But yeah, I've always seen these, like I said, and always wanted them, but, you know, dishing out the money for this. And I'll say what it comes down to, Mr. Mike Ross. Mike, if you're watching, thank you very much for giving me a great deal on this Godzilla. We have worked together for a while and have messaged back and forth, and he is responsible for the first X Plus for their Monster Report, and oh my goodness, look at that. Not much to see at the moment, but you can kind of see where this is going here. He is in there, and he is ready to come out, join the world of the Monster Report Nick Adam Polling's collectibles. Let's get him out of here. When this arrived in the mail, I was actually surprised by how little it weighed. I was expecting a little bit more just heaviness to it, but yeah, the box was quite lightweight, and that's you know, to do with the material he's made of. It's PVC or vinyl. And a lot of detail that goes into these sculpts, and the paint is incredible too. So there we have torso, arms, legs, dorsal fins, everything there. And he is hermetically sealed, I guess, just in case you know, he needs to go into a hospital, I guess. So very cool there. Let's see if he doesn't really stand up on his own yet, but we will make that work when we get the tail attached here. Tail is probably just as well packaged as before. And again, thank you, Mike Ross, for this great deal that you gave me on this X Plus. Now that, of course, I have my first X Plus, now that I have my first vinyl figure, I don't know, maybe there will be many more unboxing videos as this show goes along. You've never seen an unboxing until now. This is the premiere unboxing video for me. So I know that once you get hooked on these figures, it is hard to stop at that point. So, got the tail, needs to be attached, and I know that the process of this requires this. So I tell you what, why don't I not show you that whole process. If you're out there and you've done this before, you know how this works. To heat up the bottom here, not the tail. You do not want to heat up the tail, you want to heat up his bottom, and then push the tail in there when you have it nice and soft. So plenty of heat from this will do that, not too much of course, but just make sure, like what Rich says, soft and squishy. So plenty of heat to get him nice and soft. Let's see how it turns out after we do that. Well guys, I followed the instructions and I used the hairdryer and, you know, tried to heat up the bottom end there to put the tail in, but I think I may have used too much heat. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did I use too much heat? You know, you're supposed to get him all soft and squishy, right? He's soft, but I think I may have gone a little overboard on this one. You know, maybe next time I'll do a better job. But you know, he's not too bad. Look, X plus, right? Yay! He's vinyl. He's Godzilla. Rawr. No, guys, I'm just kidding. Here's the real deal. Godzilla 1968, the Monster Report's first X plus, and he looks great. Fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint job. His tail on, and he is ready for action to destroy all monsters. So there you have it. The Monster Report's first X plus. You saw it here first. Thank you, Mr. Mike Ross. He's fantastic. Yep, I think I'm hooked at this point. I'm pretty sure we'll have another unboxing video sometime here in the near future. So for Nick Adam Poling, this has been the Monster Report. We'll catch you next time.